Another type of additive manufacturing process is the binder jetting process. In the binder jetting process, uses the two materials, the build material and the binders. Commonly used build materials are metals, sand, and ceramics. The binder is selectively deposited onto the powder fed, bonding these areas together to form a solid part, one layer at a time. So it is the layer by layer manufacturing process. So in the binder jetting process, a glue or binder is jetted from an inkjet style print head. The roller spreads a new layer of the powder on the top of the previous layer. The subsequent layer is then printed and is stitched to the previous layer by the jetted binder. This binder is used to bind these two layers. The remaining loose powder in the bed supports overhanging the structures. So this is the representation of a binder jetting process. It consists of the two platform. One is the powder feed tank, another one is the build tank. These are the two tanks. Then liquid binder, it filled with that binding materials. Then binder spray head, bound powder and green part, and the powder roller. This powder roller is used to spread the one layer of the powder on the platform. After that, the liquid binder, it from the binder spray head, it is sprayed on the first layer of that raw material. Then it gets together, glued and binded. After that, again the powder roller spread the another layer of the raw material powder. So in this way, this process is build the original product of the design data. So there are two tanks. One is the powder feed tank. It filled with the metal powder raw material. Then build tank. In the build tank, after the layers formation, it moves from the up to down. Then another one method is the material extrusion process, or otherwise fused deposition modeling process. The fused deposition modeling is called as the FDM. Material is drawn through a nozzle where it is heated and is then deposited layer by layer. In the FDM machine process, the raw material is in the form of solid wire form. The first layer is built as nozzle deposits the materials where required onto the cross-sectional area. The following layers are added on top of the previous layers. Layers are fused together upon the deposition as the materials is in the melted state. So this is the representation of the fused deposition modeling. In the fused deposition modeling, the raw material is the solid wire form. Here the PLA or PLA plus, that is polylactic acid plus, and ABS material, acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. The materials is commonly used as the raw material. It is in the form of solid wire form. This solid wire form is inserted through this heated nozzle. Here the nozzle temperature is around 275 degrees Celsius because of the melting temperature of the raw material. So, and as usual, it consists of the build platforms and the heating elements, nozzles. Through the nozzle, the solid wire frame that is melted and it poured onto the build platform. So in this process, from the CAD data, it converted into the .stl file and again converted into the slicing software. After that, inserted to the computer control machine, and from the computer machine data, it build up from the down to up to produce the final part of the product. Then powder bed fusion, selective laser sintering SLS, selective laser melting SLM, electron beam melting EBM. These are the powder bed fusion based methods. Here the no support structures required. So in this process, a layer typically 0.1 mm thickness of material is spread over the build platform. The SLS, selective laser sintering machine, preheats the bulk powder material in the powder bed. A laser fuses the first layer. A new layer of powder is again spread. Further layers or cross section are fused and added. The process repeats until the entire model is created. Here the laser source is used to bind the raw materials, that means powder materials. So this is the powder fed fusion. Selective laser, this process also called selective laser sintering. Sintering means to bind the powder particles together. It is called sintering process. Then sheet lamination process is also called as the laminated object manufacturing. Here the metal sheets are used as a raw material. Laser beam cuts the cuts by the hot contour of the each layer, glue activated rollers. The process, the material is positioned in the place on the cutting bed. The material is bonded in place over the previous layer using the adhesive material. The required shape is then cut from the layer by laser or knife. The next layer is added. So in this way, the final product is produced. This is the representation of sheet lamination process. The laser is used to cure the two layer of the materials. Cross captured material, it is the material spool, it is the used material spools to the build platform. Then directed energy deposition consists of a nozzle mounted on a multi-axial arm. Nozzle can move in the multiple directions. Material is melted upon a deposition with a laser or electron beam. So in this process, a 4 or a 5 axis arm which nozzle moves around a fixed object. Material is deposited from the nozzle onto the existing surface of the object. The material is either provided in the wire form or the powder form. The material is melted using a laser source or electron beam or plasma arc upon the depositions. So further material is added layer by layer and it solidifies, creating or repairing the new materials features on the existing objects. So these are the various methods of additive manufacturing process to build up the products from the CAD data. So thank you for listening.